Spike, what is this?
Hey Walker, we have a client who sent us a picture and it's a painting of their home that I then vectorized and am now going to make it a plasma cut panel that we're gonna powder coat it and then they're gonna hang it in their railings. So they have a loft that they're using as protective barrier. So instead of doing balusters, they're doing a panel. And it's pretty intricate, as you can tell. I'll actually pull up the original picture. This is the original thing I got that I had to vectorize and really clean up and do some creative editing.
God, that's where it started?
Yeah.
Boy.
And then this is what I turned it into, black and white, just to do like a base trace. And then from there, we turned it into this. So here's what it looks like. And so there was an additional plot to this, is that they have a snooker table that's going to be up on the loft. And so they didn't want any opening on this panel to be big enough for a snooker ball to get through, because their kitchen is going to be right below it. So originally I wanted all these trees to be cut out, so it's big open spaces, but that'd be way too big for a snooker ball to fit through. So that's when they all got reversed. So now all of this is cut out, and I actually have an image of that as well. So this is what the end result's gonna look like. This is the original, and now it's gonna look like this. So all the outlines are gonna be cut out. So ton of plasma work like that. I'm curious to see how long it's gonna take to cut. And we're gonna be using a fresh nozzle or a fresh tip for it. So I hope it lasts. Yeah, this was definitely far more CAD heavy than fabrication heavy, but that's good.
Boy, I hope they don't change the layout of their front garden very much.
yeah, they get rid of those bushes. No one's gonna know what this is.
Yeah. All right, nice work.
Yeah, thanks. I hope it works out.
Me too. We'll find out.
Yeah, because it could be a pretty fantastic plasma cut, and I'm sure you're gonna see it being cut right.
What do you think?
Wow, that's pretty fine cut for 1/8 inch panel.
No kidding. This is for sure I feel like the hardest we've pushed this machine. That's wild, man. I've seen you work on the drawing for this for weeks. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Look at that.
Cool.
It's pretty minimal dross on the back, too.
Yeah, oh, that sun looks cool.
Well done, dude.
Yeah, dude, this is gonna be dope.
Dude, this cut was so long that, the water's hot. This is like a hot tub right
Really?
now. There's so much heat coming off this table right now.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and even like the tree outlines came out really nice. Yeah, dude. Sweet.
It only stopped once because one piece fell in and it stuck up, but we have the collision detection on the plasma, so it hit it, and then it stopped and we could hear it, came out and cleared the collision, hit restart, it kept going.
You know what I love? I love dedrossing. Let's talk about it. We had an opportunity to do something that I really enjoy, which is doing railing, and instead of doing pickets, putting in plasma cut panels. I think that's something that we've had the opportunity to do a few times. I would love to do more of it because I think it really adds a unique finish that kind of clearly doesn't look like something that was done out of a catalog or just kind of a generic finish. But would that, especially on a detailed panel, which is what we have here. Spike spent a whole lot of time doing some really great design work on this, getting a lot of neat little details in there, from the sun rays to the trees. But what that leaves us with is a lot of sections that the dedrossing is critical. Dedrossing is always critical, but to varying degrees. You know, if we're talking about something that is going to be used in more of an industrial application that maybe won't be interacted with a whole lot, it becomes slightly less critical. But something like this that is going in a residential home, something that could potentially at some point have little fingers going through it, in reference to kids or whatnot, you really want to make sure that you get all of those surfaces completely clean. And that's what I was doing here, coming through with my trusty angle grinder with the stainless wire knotted brush at the end. It is a kind of a hateful operation in a lot of ways, in that like it's kicking off little stainless wire projectiles in every direction, and it's kicking up gross dust and all kinds of stuff. But the juice is worth the squeeze on this, and especially, as I was saying, given the residential application here, we really want to make sure that we go above and beyond in that department. So it's going to be real obvious if anything is missed there. Both sides really, you know, typically you have an A side and a B side with anything that's plasma cut, and the A side typically doesn't have a lot of dross to D. The underside, however, is usually fairly gnarly depending on where the cutting tip is in its life cycle. On this one though, I really wanted to make sure that I got both sides completely, not a single edge missed. So I had to weld on some angle sections on either end, giving them a good place to insert that into the actual posts. But once we're done, you know, giving it a visual, making sure they both match and are completely uniform, and there's no little funky sections, nothing that's lifted or becomes sharp, because the other side of the knife's edge, if you will, on the detail that goes into this is there are a lot of potentially sharp edges. And not only is that an issue, or a potential issue for just interacting with it with your hands, but also during the powder coating process, because if you miss anything on there, the blasting, if it didn't get got with the wire brush, blasting is not going to get it. So it's going to stay on there. However, over time, not only will you have this like slightly raised section, it's also, because it's sharp, the actual powder won't adhere to it in the same manner that it would a dulled surface. So the powder actually goes on a little bit thinner at that point, and you can have some kind of visual imperfections in that. So this is probably as critical of a dedrossing situation as it gets so far in my experience here. So really wanted to be thorough on that, but we were able to. Me and the mouse in my pocket really killed it, and we were able to send it off to Lucas at Powder Coating Creations, who did just an absolutely killer job on it. And this was especially fun because this was for some out-of-state clients that came in, and they drove up, and I was actually able to help them load it into their car and meet them. And it's always nice to put a little bow on stuff like that so you can kind of see the end application, even if you don't see it. Although I believe we are going to get some photos at some point of it installed, so I can't wait for that. But being able to meet the fine folks that are living in this beautiful home is a real treat. And they were lovely folks, and were thrilled with the panels, and they're putting their house panels in their beautiful house. So really kind of a nice full circle, a small job for us, but worked out really great. And I was honored to be able to work on something that will be a centerpiece of these fine folks' home for as long as they're there. So as always, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.